and welcome to the State of the University, a strategic vision for the University of North Dakota. I am Ellen Nelson, Student Body President.
I'm Sarah Robinson, incoming chair of the University Senate.
And I'm Mike Wozniak, Staff Senate President. We're thankful you could join us online and in person today.
We are honored to be here representing UND's faculty, staff, and student bodies. Today we'll hear about some of the tremendous growth and exciting initiatives that are happening across our university. This is an opportunity to learn about where the institution is going in the coming year and to celebrate our collective successes.
This forward momentum at UND would not have been possible without the hard work and collaboration between our employees, students, alumni, and community members, and the collective dedication we have to the success of our students and in our university mission.
UND's mission and vision, formally adopted early this year as a part of our new strategic plan, builds on the unique history and strengths of the University of North Dakota. This history dates back 140 years to our founding in 1883. Our first graduating class consisted of 2 men and 6 women, one of whom, Dr. Cora Smith King, became the first woman to receive a medical license in the state, which I believe makes her our honorary first student leader in action.
In 1911, UND was an early adopter of educating at a distance, with correspondence by mail courses. Today, we offer hundreds of online courses, degree programs, and continuing education opportunities to students across the globe. We remain focused on educational access and flexibility for our students and are recognized as a top 10 university for online and self-paced courses.
In 1918, UND was the country's hardest hit institution by the influenza pandemic that killed 1,400 people in North Dakota alone. Almost 100 years later, UND met the COVID pandemic head-on, with university experts serving as a vital resource to the campus, community, and state for navigating the global crisis.
UND's campus and student body has seen its fair share of changes during the last 140 years. During World War I, the campus became an army base for soldiers. After World War II, our student population swelled with veterans using the GI Bill to return to school. Today, almost 1,500 of our students are veterans, active duty, or military dependents. We are ranked #1 as a public research university for military, and Grand Forks is rated as a top 5 city for veterans. Our student union serves as a reminder for those who fought for our country. And this fall, we will be dedicating an honor wall, which will be housed in the union in remembrance of the UND students who lost their lives in the service of our nation.
As our student body changed and the needs of our state evolved, UND led the way in programmatic offerings and institutional resources. The John D. Odegaard School of Aerospace Sciences was established in the 1970s. They are now using their national reputation to facilitate important discussions on mental health initiatives within the aerospace industry. In 1973, the Indians into Medicine program, or InMed, was established as one of the first university-based programs in the nation, dedicating to cultivating and producing Indigenous physicians and other healthcare providers. Today, InMed is ranked as the first in the nation for graduating American Indian and Alaska Native physicians.
During the Great Depression, UND provided free housing to students who worked on campus. Grand Forks citizens opened their homes and provided meals to many of these students. This close partnership with the community has only grown, with town and gown celebrations receiving national recognition in the past few years.
UND has almost 14,000 students. In the past 10 years, the makeup and needs of our student body have changed. We've experienced a difference in the modality of learning, with an increase in online, hybrid, and high-flex opportunities being added to the traditional in-class experience. Our campus classrooms have shifted to incorporate the latest technology, and UND faculty have modified teaching pedagogy to reflect today's student body. Student government looks forward to working alongside all of you to help meet the changing needs of our student body. This year, we will be focusing on increasing awareness of available resources at UND and across Grand Forks for students to have a successful and positive experience. Central to our efforts, promoting student involvement opportunities, increasing undergraduate research, and expanding safety initiatives.
All 3 of us before you are serving on the implementation team of UND Leads, our strategic plan, as the university works on initiatives that align with our strategic pillars of learning, equity, affinity, discovery, and service. In your handout today, you'll see several UND initiatives that the president will be expanding on, which are helping move our institutional plan forward. As Staff Senate, we are proud to champion the important contributions of our staff members who are engaged in this work that is transforming the physical and online infrastructure and landscape of UND. Staff are not only helping recruit new students, but are leading discussions on student success initiatives, caring for their mental and physical well-being, and welcoming alumni back years after they have received their diplomas. Staff members seek and capitalize on opportunities for innovation, research, and entrepreneurship that will increase the economic prosperity benefiting our communities and the North Dakota economy. Staff Senate will be focusing on strengthening affinity by enhancing engagement programs and continuing to build a connection with UND and the greater Grand Forks community. After today's event, we encourage you to use the QR code on the back of your handout to take a quick survey letting us know if this and future events contribute to that sense of belonging. Staff Senate will also ensure that from day one, staff feel supported, advocated for, and welcomed at UND.
As the University Senate, we are proud to be a pivotal part of continuing the legacy of learning, discovery, and service at UND. Our classrooms are filled with faculty who care deeply about their students and their subject matter. The research being conducted by our faculty and staff has national impact with important breakthroughs and discoveries happening in rural and senior healthcare, in energy and aerospace, and in helping diversify our state's economy with UAS, space, and other initiatives. They are caring for our environment with conservation biology and helping find new ways to support our K-12 educators. We are exploring what it means to live in a world increasingly reliant on artificial intelligence and helping our students understand what it means to be an active and responsible part of a global community. These are no easy tasks, and it will take a collective effort to accomplish these goals. This year, University Senate will work on re-engaging our shared governance committees to be an active part of these conversations and improving the way that we communicate our work to campus.
The roots at UND run deep. For 140 years, we have built upon a tradition of academic excellence, which is making a national impact through our commitment to quality teaching, research, and global engagement.
We are committed to recruiting and retaining outstanding faculty and staff who are empowered to develop and achieve remarkable things on behalf of our students and the state of North Dakota. And we embrace statewide leadership and service as core components of our institutional mission and vision.
The theme of today's State of the University is leading with our shared vision. The initiatives that President Armacost will highlight shortly reflect this shared vision, which are rooted in our long and rich history as an institution. As an employee of UND, I can say that it is a privilege to be part of inspiring a sense of wonder in our students.
We are proud to help advance research, creative activity, and scholarship to better understand the world around us.
And we find a common purpose in engaging in collaborations that serve the evolving needs of our communities. Together, we will make sure that UND remains a place where students continue to receive an outstanding education,
where faculty and staff are empowered to make a difference,
and that UND is a place that our community wants to invest in, to engage with, and to support. It is now my pleasure to welcome President Armacost, who will now deliver the 2023 State of the University Address.
So this is wonderful to see so many people here, and I can't think of a more fitting way to begin than having our elected leaders, LSM and Mike, to step up. It's important for you to see that, because what we're going to talk about today is really the work of the entire campus, and they, as the elected leaders, really represent all of you and your voice and where we're going as a university. So this idea of a shared vision, I mean, talk about an awesome responsibility. But that's a true statement, again, evidenced by these three. How about another round of applause for their leadership? And when we think about the shared vision, we think about everybody, all the constituents across the campus who are involved. And this is a great picture of our new faculty bus tour, which just returned last night to campus, thanks to Provost Lake and Vice President Malloy for their participation in leading that bus tour. If you were on the bus tour, raise your hand. Well, you're welcome. You're still with us. Great. Well done. And the 30 or so everyone on that tour is just 1/3 of the total new group of faculty members, 90 plus or so. And all the new staff members who are here as well over 300. Welcome to each of you. The vision that we talk about today is this shared vision, this understanding of where we're going to go as a community. I think it's also important to recognize that this doesn't happen alone, that there's an amazing infrastructure that's supporting the effort of the strategic plan. We'll talk about more of that here in a moment. But the students are an important part of the constituency. I talked about faculty and staff. Let me give you a quick profile of some numbers that we're seeing for over the last year. Again, the state of the university, I'm going to focus on where we are as a campus. I'll also talk a little bit about the finances, and then we'll pivot to looking forward into the UND strategic plan and talk about things like how the strategic plan came about, a little bit on that, and most importantly, what the vision is going forward and what the initiatives are that were samples of initiatives that are going forward. So I'll take breaks throughout to make sure that you're with me because this is going to be a frantic pace, folks. So hold on to your seats. All right. So we're seeing the 13,876 enrollments. That was last year in the fall. The increases were about 1% annually in each of the last 2 years, which bucks the national trend. The national trend was a 7.4 decrease over that same time period. So we as a campus, your hard work has paid off in terms of attracting students here to UND. And if we look at the fall of 2023, looking a little bit forward, and I know Janelle Kilgore is here, Rose Janelle, she's always nervous when I say these numbers because you never know if they happen as planned. The estimated enrollment increase, headcount, is up close to 2%, and total student credit hours about 1.2%. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to share some more data with you. Our new freshmen are up 4%. Our new graduate students up 5.44%. Our new transfer students up close to 20%. And our new international students up 21%. So this is amazing news. This is really good news, but it doesn't just happen. It happens because of the outreach from our marketing group, from our faculty members, from our staff members who are taking active efforts to get the word out about how we're doing. I challenged Melanie Linder, Vice President Linder, when I first came aboard, to get the number of hits, social media hits and media mentions up, and we put a target of 20,000 over the course of a couple of years, and now we're encroaching on 30,000, so 29,500 media mentions. And in terms of the reputation of our campus, we do a brand survey every 2 years. The reputation of the campus among prospective students, both undergraduates and graduate students, we're number one within the region. And this includes, yes, other flagship universities in the region and other agricultural schools in the region as well. So just want to make sure that you're aware of this. We offer new programs. So it's not just about us talking about what we do. It's about creating new opportunities. Here are a few examples. A new program in biomedical engineering that just launched for the undergraduate side recently, our launching of the aerospace engineering program, and our new program in digital journalism. And these require hands from all colleges, many different colleges across the campus. And so kudos to those who have launched these programs. Let me also share with you a program that launched 3 years ago and that we're proud to announce that we just graduated our first four graduates of our PhD program in digital science. And here you see Danya Kerr, you see Amy Stiparm, you see Cole Alec, and you see Mona Zuvante. They're extraordinary examples of us designing a program that meets the needs of the state, that meets the needs, most importantly, of tribal nations, and these are the products of that hard work. So congratulations to the School of Medicine and Health Sciences and all around the campus who made this happen. It's wonderful news. And then a great example of looking at where we contribute importantly, and that's the growth of our UND Honors Program. And we've seen since 2018 an increase in enrollment in that program by 55%. And each class actually brings in about 250 people into each new class as 250 honors folks. And so congratulations to the folks running the honors program. It's all hands on deck, but an incredible impact. One of the examples of our honors student is Sydney Meddy, who was our 2023 Marshall Scholar. Folks, this is a big deal. A Marshall Scholar and a Rhodes Scholar, those don't come very often. In fact, our last Rhodes Scholar was in 1972. She is our first ever Marshall Scholar, and she's going to the UK to study astronautics and propulsion this fall. So kudos to Sydney. And then in addition, we have 21 national scholarship winners from that group. And we're cultivating excellence in the classroom, and that's what this is about. So thanks to all the honors program. In terms of retaining students, the numbers are at decades highs. So the retention of our students from last fall to this fall is at 83%. That's a decade-long high. And then from last fall to last spring, we retained at the rate of 94%. This is a result of you making a difference in the lives of the students. You're showing them the path that they can take to success here at UND. So this is an extraordinary growth. It's remarkable. It's the hard work of each and every person in this room. Give yourselves a round of applause. And of course, this when we think about the graduation rate, this is ultimately right after, bringing people to UND and having them leave with the credential that they came for. And so for undergraduates, we see tremendous growth both in the 4-year graduation rate and the 6-year graduation rate. Now, there was ample room to keep going higher, believe me. But when we can see an 11-point increase on the 4-year rate and a 10-point increase on the 6-year rate, that's really good news. Again, it's the hard work of everyone in this room. And then in terms of putting people into professions that align with why they came to UND either in the first place or second place. It depends how many times they change majors, of course. But 90% of recent graduates, of course, talk about the fact that they ended up with a position that tied to the academic program. So that's great news as well. And serving the needs of the state of North Dakota and the region are an important part of our mission and our charter. Now, when we think about the donors connection, so Deanna Carlson-Zick and the foundation do a great job cultivating support. They play an important role here as well. In terms of creating, we call that sense of wonder. You know what I'm talking about, right? When you walk into an environment and you say, these people are serious about learning, right? There's just something powerful when you find a campus where that sense of wonder, where everybody feels that they can do something great on any given day. That's what we're talking about. That sense of wonder is supported by our donors in important ways. Here's 2 such ways. First, our endowed faculty positions. These are named faculty positions. These are central to us attracting top-level faculty from across the nation. We have 59 endowed faculty positions, which is a huge number given a campus of our size. And then our endowment for scholarships. This is money that goes, well, that's not the money. I'll tell you a little bit. This is the part of money from which scholarships are drawn. Okay, an endowment has to exist forever. And so we pull off about 5% of that every year and give that directly to students for scholarships. This is made possible by the tremendous donor support. Then we think about not just what happens in the classroom, but our processes of discovery and how we do the research and creative activities and the innovation and entrepreneurship on our campus. We focus both on breadth and depth. How does everyone in this room, how does every member of our faculty feel connected to the research enterprise, to feel that their scholarship within their discipline matters, but also to be able to go deep in areas that require significant investment. And so breadth and depth are important for our research enterprise, and certainly as we create a national reputation in terms of what we offer to the body of knowledge, breadth and depth are both important. And our research portfolio in terms of research expenditures in the last year was $147 million. This is up from $110 million 2 years earlier. It's a significant growth. And it's because of the great work that's happening by people in this room. In addition, our grants and awards have increased over that same period even more. So forthcoming expenditures are undoubtedly going to continue to grow because our research grants have grown by 50% over a 2-year period. It's absolutely stunning work. On our support to the wonderful human beings on our campus, I wanted to introduce you to 3 key people who joined our team or were hired into new positions on our team. Keith Nayater is our director of the Indigenous Student Center. Marilyn Gabrielle is our director and our new director at the International Center. And Jeff Lewinsky is the director of our Pride Center, supporting our LGBTQ plus students. How about a round of applause for them? And UND was central to a regional conference on DEI. So the 2022 DEI conference that was held here at UND brought over 300 people from across the region to support efforts and to discuss areas of opportunity that exist across many of the campuses in the region. So this was a tremendous success. And thanks to Tom Bailey and Stacey Borboro-Peterson for making that event happen. Now let me turn to spirits. So these are familiar logos, the Fighting Hawks. This is who we are as a campus. And I would encourage everyone to take an active interest in our student athletes and how they're doing on the fields of friendly strife, right? The opportunity to compete on the ice, on the fields, on the courts, because there's just tremendous opportunity here to come out and support them. Let me highlight a few. In the upper left is Garen Moffin. He's an NFL now. So he was signed by the Minnesota Vikings. He was a mainstay on our team last year. And certainly our football team, which is currently ranked number 17 in the nation, has garnered national attention. On track and field, Elise Youssef in the upper area is an all-American heptathlete. And so her excellence on the track is just extraordinary. And she's part of a heptathlete, Andre, that I think is ranked currently number 5 in the nation. So it's absolutely extraordinary the work that they're doing. Of course, our hockey team in the lower left, nationally ranked. We've had winning seasons in 21 consecutive years. So it's absolutely stunning the work that happens with our hockey program. Our basketball team, this is certainly Chatsite, who is a mainstay on the basketball team. He's leading a convent. The basketball team finished the season strong last year with a group of youngsters. I think they had 2 or 3 starters who were freshmen. They are going to be powerful this year. They finished the season winning 6 out of the last 9 games. So there's great expectations for our men's basketball team. And I'll talk about the women here in a moment. And then this is Carrie Carpenter. She's a golfer. She was the Skyer athlete of the national tournament, the regional tournament for the conference, the Summit League. And Carrie is an amazing golfer. The team itself did extraordinary. They had a 54 lowest score ever in the league. So they did extraordinary work. So congratulations to all of the athletes and the work that they're doing. And then I should mention that we've made some subtle adjustments to launch what we'll call secondary marks. So the images that you saw that identify the University of North Dakota and the Fighting Hawks still are in play, but we've added a few tweaks to these. The AUKUS can occasionally be seen free from UND. Hawks. And Rob, if you could stand up, and I think Anna Clark, these are some new merchandise, game day merchandise that's going to come out at Shields and over at the Ralph Engelstad Arena, and it shows the use of these new secondary marks in new and interesting ways. So just to make you aware that this game day shirt, the coaches have already responded favorably this morning to this new merchandise. So you'll see this little tweak every now and then about how we're representing our Fighting Hawks. So congratulations to all of our athletes. And then finally, on the state of the university, I just wanted to give you a budget picture. Now, we're wondering how much information can I get from a pie chart? The answer is a lot. The pie chart is big. It's about $650 million. That's how much revenue we bring in. And it's from a variety of sources, research grants and all grants and contracts, from tuition and fees, from the state. The legislature actually appoints or appropriates money to us. And then, of course, we have auxiliaries like housing and dining that generate money as well. What I want you to take from this is the balance. When you think about what the legislature gives us, we're thankful for every bit of money, and they've been very generous in recent years to support us. But the appropriations from the legislature only get us so far, as you can see by this graph. And the donor piece, I mentioned earlier that we have big endowments of money, but the payoff on the money yields a significant but not a giant piece of the overall pie. And so as we go forward, we're looking for ways to increase the opportunities for donors to increase that pink section as well, to support our students, our faculty, and also the facilities and programs that exist on campus. All right, so that's your own pie chart today. All right, so, and this is the result of your hard work. So this is what I'd like to say is the state of the university. How about this? We're halfway through. It's raining here. Why don't you all stand up for a moment, everybody on your feet? All right. Now turn to your neighbor, and you're going to give them a fist bump and a high five. Let's go. There we go. We did it. Good. All right, there we go. All right, let's go. There we go. There we go. All right, you can sit down. Excellent. All right. Okay. Please remain seated, or please take your seats. Now I know what one of these comedic hypnotists feel like, right? Thank you. I can get you to do anything, apparently. The fact that 250 people would high five on commit, that's awesome. Okay, what did we just hear about? The state of the university, how we're doing with enrollments, how we're doing with budgets. Now I want to continue to paint the picture of where we're heading under UND leads. And UND leads, of course, you know the history. Why do you know the history? Because you are the history. I'm not the history. This is not my plan. This is the plan of the campus. Right? This emerged through a year of discussion. We had over 700 people involved in the creation of this plan. And I think it's important to recognize this, and you know the history because you're part of it. And the pillars that emerged, that sense of wonder that we talked about earlier, about how we create learning opportunities, that sense of creating opportunities for everybody on our campus to achieve success. That's what we mean by this sense of equity. A sense of connection to one another, to our groups, to the university. That's an important notion of affinity that we have to aspire to. The chance to discover and invent. I mean, think about it, the childlike quality of finding out something new. That's what we mean by discovery, right? And each and every one of us does it, whether you're faculty, staff, or student. There's an opportunity for each of us to be part of this world of discovery. And then finally, a commitment to one another, a commitment to the community of Grand Forks, and a commitment to the state of North Dakota, the nation, and the globe. This is that sense of service that is so well captured in our UND Leads strategic plan. So I always ask, how do I lead? And when I give talks on leadership, people always ask, who is your favorite leader? They expect me to cite, I don't know, MacArthur or Eisenhower, pick a Gandhi. And I can't do it because I think my leadership experiences have been the consequence of observing others and seeing what leadership they bring to their organizations and how they lead others. So I always ask the question, how do I lead? And I pay attention to the actions of people and groups on campus all the time. I'm watching. So this is Jeff Mansky. I don't know if Jeff is here. I think he's not because he's setting up for the event that follows this one. Jeff approached me in the hallway of Twomley Hall and he said, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Jeff. I was working in one position in buildings, was a building services technician working in the residence halls. And he said, and because of a change in contracts, I'm no longer doing that. Instead, I'm an employee within the facilities department, and I've just been asked to help out wherever I can. And he said, I assure you, my role is to help you out and help the campus out however I can. Those words that he said on that day struck me because what he was telling me was, regardless of what the university asks of him, he will do it. It's a sense of commitment and service to others that Jeff typifies. And even this morning, he was in the front office. I learned this from Rob earlier. He was in the front office, sweat dripping down, saying, okay, how can I help get ready for this afternoon's event? And that is Jeff Mansky, a great example of what it means to lead. And then we see groups. I always talk about the women's basketball program because everywhere I look, they are there. They're out in the community. They're serving French fries at the Potato Ball French fry feed. They're doing all these great things of service. And in the upper right, you see a picture taken at a football game where I said, who is that group that is there to the bitter end of every football game, regardless of what the other fans are doing? They're there cheering their football teammates on. And that's the women's basketball team. Taking it every single way that they can. I try not to read on this one, but the Institute for Business and Policy Analytics is within the Whistler College, and Jason Jensen, David Flynn, and Chi Bing Tan are the members of this group. They do extraordinary work. They've called on, they've answered the call repeatedly. I see Chi Bing in the back. I don't know if David and Jason are here, but every time I ask about an economics issue that's facing the state of North Dakota, they answer quickly, late at night, in the morning, all the time. The most important calls that they answered was one of support to human beings across the globe. We had two families in Afghanistan. The parents were economists, and we got a call from an alumnus who said, hey, we're trying to find a home for these two economists and their family. Is there anything that UND can do? And so Dean Henry and the members of the Institute quickly lent a hand. They created an opportunity for these two scholars to join us as part of the IDPA. And then they've been now safely taken out of their home country of Afghanistan through Pakistan on, trust me, a very dangerous journey to get here to the United States. And both families are now here peacefully here in Grand Forks and ready to begin work at the IPBA. So congratulations to Indians. And these are the actions that matter, right? Helping other human beings be the best forms of themselves and giving them opportunities. And literally, in this case, potentially saving lives. So thanks to the whole team there. And then, in addition, speaking of impacting lives. The Undergrad School of Aerospace Sciences faced a tragedy. John Hauser passed away. This was, it's well known that this was a mental health related issue. He took his own life in an airplane. And John's family gave generous donations to the university, and the Undergrad School answered the call to create a mental health aviation symposium, but brought together the FAA, the Airline Pilots Association, leaders from the leading aviation universities throughout the country to create an aviation mental health summit. And the impact has been immediate and far-reaching with the support that's now being provided to our student pilots as well as pilots within the industry. So kudos to the Undergrad School for making that happen. These examples should force each of us to say, how do I lead? Or how will I lead going forward? What can you do in your daily lives to impact the lives of others? There's a lot we can do, and we just have to examine that and think about it. And then how do I help others lead? Because leadership, it turns out, is a team sport, right? The impact that you can have on others and the example that you set really matters. And let me just say, you are empowered to lead. When we think about UND leads the strategic plan, you should think, I'm empowered to make change on this campus. I'm not going to get in your way, and the administration's not going to get in your way at all. Our goal is to make sure that we do it, and we have a guiding framework to make sure that change happens and points to that same direction that we're carving out with UND leads. And it takes people, it takes money, it takes time, of course. And so we put together a wonderful implementation team. Our new Associate Vice President for Strategy and Implementation is Ryan Zia. Ryan was in the very back row. In spite of my pleas earlier, he's still in the back row. And then Angie Carpenter, who's our Director of Special Student Populations, is co-chairing the implementation team. The implementation team is doing extraordinary work. We have members from our institutional effectiveness team, our data analytics team, but most importantly, I believe, is the inclusion of our elected leaders to get that shared governance element into our strategic plan, right? So this is not a plan that's a top-down plan. It's one that's emerging from the work of this great team, but also the work of all of our shared governance organizations. And we have to keep in mind this vision. And there's three elements to this that I think are really important to inspire that sense of wonder, to inspire a love of discovery, and then also that commitment to serve. So with those in mind, when we then talk about some current initiatives that are going on at UND, and you've heard some of them through the initial comments, but I'm going to pick a few. Now, you may have initiatives going that I don't know about, and that I'm not talking about today. The purpose is just to give you a sampling of some of the things that are happening, the amazing things that are happening, so you can get a sense of how this team is moving out in the first year of this new strategic plan, all right? So don't be offended if your initiative isn't here. Indians into medicine. So our InMed program, we're together an amazing proposal. And this proposal is reviewed by our Senate Budget Committee, which has newfound power in terms of vetting and prioritizing requests for institution-wide investment. And the Indians into medicine program put in an amazing proposal that the committee ranked number one. And this proposal was, how do we better support our Summer Institute for InMed, which supports high school and middle school students as they make their from tribal nations as they make their journey into higher ed and beyond. And so this program is going to offer huge opportunities, but it was the leadership of the Henry Med team that made this happen. And kudos to Dr. Dan Henry. I don't know if Dan's here, and thanks to Dean Wynn as well for your great support. And it's collaboration. So we often talk about improving collaboration on campus. Here's two great examples. The Center for Engineering Education Research, which is a connection between the College of Education and Human Development and the College of Engineering and Mines, about how do we come forward and figure out how to educate K-12 students in a better way and do so that we can amplify our STEM workforce. And then the North Dakota Aerospace Medicine Center, which is a collaboration between the Undergraduate School and also student health, about how to more efficiently support the students who need both physical and mental health resources within the aviation program. We mentioned our College of Nursing and Professional Disciplines has a great activity going on with simulated emergency training. And so the more realistic we can make these simulation opportunities, the better, because there is a workforce shortage in nursing within the state. And this is a way for us to step up to that very important state need. And then in much of our work on campus, we focused on what are called high-impact educational practices. How do we impact our students in ways that adds something to the classroom experience. We're extending that idea further by creating an experiential learning center that will connect many opportunities for our students: internships, employment opportunities, job placement, undergraduate research opportunities, all within one organization, to make sure that process happens more routinely for more students to amplify their overall educational experience. And then when we think about our student body, this is last year's freshman class, we think about the whole body. What can we do for the students who are coming to UND? We're taking a very close look at an initiative to create a stronger first-year experience, so that as our students make the transition from high school to college, from civilian life back to academic life, whatever their transition is, how do you make that happen more readily and more effectively for those students? And then furthermore, how do you position those same students to lead? What experiences are we going to offer them to develop their own leadership experience? And you might be saying, well, they're not going to be CEOs. Of course not. They're not going to be CEOs, but everybody's going to lead in their own way, right? It could be thought leaders. It could be supportive leadership. There's lots of ways for our students to figure out how they're going to make this journey through UND. And these are some sample programs. Of course, when you think about research and discovery, the grand challenges, I mentioned the depth. The grand challenges are important in the sense that they provide important guideposts for interdepartmental research activities that can support a variety of needs for the state of North Dakota and for the nation. The newest one is our work on national security, which we've written about a lot, and how do we support the national security enterprise, as well as space exploration and other ideas that connect to that world, or to connect out of this world, I should say. The grand challenges will remain an important part of what we do on our campus for our funded research activities. In addition, we're looking at how do we better support elderly health. And there's two initiatives, both C2 SHIP, I forget what the acronym, the acronym's right there, the Center to Stream Healthcare in Place. There it is. And then also we have a Senior Healthcare Innovation Collaborative that's coming together to look at wearable technologies and how do you better support senior health through the use of technology. And when we speak of technology, a great opportunity has emerged through what's known as the CHIPS Act, there's been a lot of press about the CHIPS Act. And this is a collection of universities across what we call the mountain and plain states, rural regions, because rural technical challenges are often best addressed by universities in those rural settings, because they're front and center to us. And so by connecting these universities, we have high hopes that we can garner additional federal funding through the National Science Foundation and the Economic Development Administration. So this is a major effort underway as well. And then in energy, UND has a great energy portfolio, both in traditional supplies, oil and gas, but also in renewables and alternative forms of energy. And so here we see the Regional Clean Hydrogen Hub, which is a project that's being proposed right now by the EERC, the Energy and Environmental Research Center. And it has a huge opportunity to look at hydrogen as a potential and viable fuel source. And then in addition, the College of Engineering Mines has a major grant, an $8 million, it's actually $7,999,999. Where'd the dollar go? I don't know, but on rare earth elements. And this was a collaborative effort between the College of Engineering and Mines and the EERC. And so both of these have the opportunity to make an extraordinary impact, both on energy sources, but also on the economy of the state of North Dakota. And then we think about our support to others. There have been a number of articles written about our campus's efforts on accessibility and how can we promote not just accessibility to physical spaces, but how do we promote a sense of identity for those who have different abilities from many of us, and how do we create an environment that's welcoming and accessible to all. So kudos, I know TDA was a key instrument in launching this initiative, thanks to the members of TDA for the book read that we had last year that focused on accessibility. And then our support to our veterans. We have nearly, you don't know this, we have nearly 1,500 students on our campus who are either veterans, dependents of veterans, or active duty ROTC cadets. And they require our support. And Angie, thanks for all the work that you've done there, you and Andrew. And so we are continuing to put forth initiatives that would better support those populations and to make sure that they get the educational experiences that they deserve following their service to our nation. And then supporting the workforce here in the state of North Dakota. We have the College of Education and Human Development has launched the Office of Teacher Recruitment and Retention. This is looking specifically at the K-12 instructor, K-12 teacher retention, and how do we create a better pipeline of teachers within the state of North Dakota. So these are examples of the initiatives that people have put forward to solve those issues of how do you create a sense of wonder? How do you pursue that love of discovery? And how do you create that sense of community through better connections with the state of North Dakota? Of course, there's physical spaces. You've seen it. It's right out here, right? The construction site. You probably heard it during parts of my presentation, but the renovation of Merrifield Hall. This is the heavy activity for the College of Arts and Sciences, undergoing a renovation through both federal support, federal funding support, and also private donor support. And then a proposed building that was funded partially by the state of North Dakota and the generosity of the legislators to create a new STEM complex that's going to better connect the work that we're doing both in engineering and science. And this will be on the site of Hislop, which, as we know, is aging out and has to be taken down within the next couple of years. Again, let me remind you of the different funding sources that come together. You saw these on the pie chart. This is just nice pictures that show the same thing, but all of the areas of funding that really matter to us. And when we think about the financial efforts that we have going on, there's two important studies that you should know about. The first is an examination of our budgeting model. We adopted a new approach, an incentive-based approach, about 5 years ago, and it's now time to look at it to make sure that it's achieving the objectives that we hope. Is it consistent with the strategy that we're laying down? And so we're doing a 15-year review of the MIRA model. And then in addition, to build on some work that we did early in the summer on pay equity, we have a pay equity study that's taking, they tell me, 17 weeks to complete. And we'll have information there that will address issues of equity with respect to market. Are we paying people fairly with respect to the market that their jobs are in? And then secondly, and very importantly, is are we paying people fairly with respect to traditionally unsolved issues with respect to gender equity and racial equity in the way that we're paying our employees. So these are two important studies that we all should be paying close attention to. We also, a public service announcement, have a Higher Learning Commission reaffirmation of accreditation, which happens April 22nd and 23rd in 2024. So 22, 23, 24, it's right there. You can remember it. It's also a great opportunity for me to introduce Shane Shelfapper. Dr. Shelfapper has recently joined us as our Director of Institutional Effectiveness. So he's going to be ushering us through the accreditation process. But that accreditation process, as the provost will say, is not about one person. It's not about the provost. It's not about Shane. It's about all of us. And accreditation is also about the connection of what we do on our campus and how it connects to our overall strategy. So today's discussion about strategy is well aligned with the discussion about accreditation. But that's the only slide on accreditation. More to come over the next months on this. And then I should highlight, I mentioned the donor support. We have an all-campus campaign that's being launched in October. And this is a great way for the people that we touch to have a profound impact on scholarships, on named professor positions, on facilities, on programs, on things that the university continues to need to be effective. So keep that pie chart in the back of your mind. That pink slice is just a small portion. And if we can increase the amount of money that comes to us through that narrow pink slice, the better we are. And we can control the cost to our students, right? This is about making sure that we use state dollars and tuition dollars effectively. And I think donor support can help us all a lot. This is my next to last slide. I wanted to make sure that you saw the new faces of people who have joined us in key leadership positions over the last year. These folks are in incredible positions to make an impact on UND leads, but also impact on each and every individual that sits in this room. So here they are. I don't know that I need to go through all their names, but if your picture is here, let's give them all a round of applause. And just like I did, I think last January or February, I like to end my talks with an analogy. So how many art fans are there? I know there's two over here. Art fans. Oh, come on. Raise your hands, really. Audience participation. Good. There's a form of art, a form of painting called pointillism. Or in my French class in high school, we called it pointillisme, right? Which sounds Sounds fancier. And pointillism is the use of just small colors of dots that, when taken together, actually create an image that's much more than that small collection of dots. And what you see here, I know that, well, I'd use the laser, but I don't know if it's working. We see these dots and create this picture of this little girl. And the little girl isn't that hazy until you step back and see the little girl as part of yet a grander picture. And this is a piece of work by Georges Seurat, who was a famous impressionist or pointillist. And Seurat, this is a famous painting that's in the Chicago Fine Arts Museum. It's called, does anyone know? Sunday Afternoon on the Isle of the Grand Jatte, right? And so this is an amazing painting, but keep in mind, it's the formation of a bunch of small dots that yields this beautiful picture. And there's an analogy here about what UND Leads represents, right? It's the picture that we're going for. And you and your efforts and your programs and your spaces are all the individual dots that, when taken together, create this amazing picture that we call UND Leads. And we see that in the faces of the people on the screen behind us, the opportunities that exist for them, and the challenges we put before them, so that we can put them in a position to be leaders, however they leading in their own way. And so this is the essence. That's the analogy you should take away, is that your role is important. Each of you leads, and together we create these graduated classes each year of people who are going to go out and change the world. It's pretty exciting. You should be proud of what you do. You should be excited about what lays ahead of us. And let's tackle all of these challenges together. I do have a question. Where is the painter? Where is Seurat?